place that we discovered in Mahabaleshwar can be termed as one of India's most haunted location, most expressly haunted location. I'm Savio, and I've been a paranormal researcher for quite a while. You may say the last 10 or 15 years. And before that, I was also an exorcist who have completely dissected the methods of exorcism from being completely religious to a very scientific method as of now. So all my exorcisms right now don't have the drama and all the hoo-ha that everybody else indulges in. And so my method of even establishing a haunting, a paranormal investigation as we call it, is pretty refined right now. And there have been many cases which I have undergone, which I have experienced, right from people slithering around chairs and tables, and people speaking in multiple voices and having superhuman strength in my exorcism. This particular place in Mahabaleshwar really piqued my interest, and this was something that I'd never experienced before, to be very honest. And let me be humble around over here, because this was one such place wherein I personally I can tell you that I was manipulated in my mind several times. So my methods of investigation had to undergo more refinement. I really went over there. The first thing I noticed is, yes, in the night, this place energy completely changes. And it has the capability of manipulating you via different voices, noises, knocks, sounds, breath on your on your neck, on the back of your neck, shadows darting in and out your peripheral vision, and a lot of other things which really cannot be captured on any electronic medium. So this is something that only as a psychic we could do. So I needed to know exactly what is happening, and it's of course been my aim and my dream to visit this place alone and stay the night there to know exactly what happened. Now, to stay the night over there is a very risky thing. So what I want to do and what I did is perform a proper audit, a paranormal audit, as to what can and what cannot go wrong. Why this place is so expressly haunted is something that nobody's been able to establish. And that's the reason, if you've noticed me, I mean, when I went through my entire investigations, when I entered the property, I was immediately pulled to my left, to the room on the left. There was something inside that was just calling me over there. So I went there, and if you've noticed me, I was touching objects and trying to find what exactly is the finer details. And then afterwards, I had the urge to go on top. Now, down there were other 3 rooms, namely the hall, the other bedroom, and a kitchen. However, I thought it would be wise to go on top suddenly, because there has to be some coherence. Whatever energies are pulling us where and all those things. And sometimes you, like how you bait a fish, you have to give in to certain calls. So I decided to go on top. On my way on top, also I found a certain calling from that particular stone, which I tried to turn. I thought that there might be something underneath that, which did not happen. And then on top, I was immediately called to the first room, which was there opposite completely. And it had creepy vibes again. Then from there, I went to the other room, which is on top of the kitchen. And there as well, I noticed for the first time in that entire house, so many years I've been going over there, that there is a wooden door, and it had really rusted hinges, which are very creepy. And it never occurred to us before that, you know what, that is the only room in the entire house that had a door, and that door was to the bathroom. Now, when I went into the bathroom, I tried to find why exactly is only this door intact, whereas all the others are broken and probably even stolen. So when I placed my hands over that door and tried to read the data of whatever was written, any special memory of that place, or any happening, I found a few gruesome incidents being conducted there. Somebody being tortured inside, somebody being imprisoned inside there for a long time, detained inside for a long time, to an extent that it was fatal in the end, but the fatality did not occur there. So those things happened, and then afterwards I went to the main room where we found a kind of a chula which is burnt. But if there was chula and if some people were cooking there, then there would be some condiments or some or the other food packets, maybe Maggi or maybe some masala or something like that. But none was found. Instead, it was used over and over again. You can see the density of the ash that was there. And then afterwards, the wood, which was partially burnt. What I did was I collected that wood as a sample for my analysis. And in my own psychic analysis, I found a certain thing. And then after that, I had to examine it through the lens of the microscope as well, in which I also saw a lot of things. Then, if you notice at that particular juncture, there was an outhouse kind of a thing, right? And that thing really had no purpose because it had only one window and it had only one door, but the door was opening outside the property. So there is something fishy about that, and which I felt that there was something buried down there. So when I took the log and I hit it, there was some hollow noise coming from the base, and that's the reason I chose to go inside and check it myself. I believe there was something buried down inside that, and that's the reason I jumped inside, if you noticed, and I was trying to find some things. But yes, because of the thick overgrowth that has taken over shrubbery, you can't really risk being snapped by a snake or something like that, right? Reptiles for that matter, or So that's the reason I chose not to delve deep inside that. I mean, and that is not our area of expertise. I guess that let law take its own course. So I came out of it, but this is what makes a peripheral audit mandatory, right? Because it establishes a lot of data from everything around, like the tree. Why is it gnarled or twisted in a particular manner? Why is it wanting to reach out to both the balconies of the house and not reaching out anywhere? So peripheral audit is the first step of a paranormal investigation, wherein you make a basic logic of what exactly happened. It's like examining circumstantial evidence on a crime scene. It's after that you would call in the forensics and they will gather samples. So from that outhouse, I collected a small rock, which I hammered and I got. And if you know, that rock had a lot of minerals in that. When I put it under the microscope and I checked, there were a lot of minerals in that. And it also had iron in that. It was red. So it's obvious to know that, this entire plateau, this entire western Ghats is made by red laterite rocks. So red laterite means it is oxidized. So it has to have some iron content, and that is established by attaching a magnet. And it definitely did have a mild magnetism to it. You cannot, of course, expect it to work like a proper iron magnet bond, but there was a mild magnetism to it. And this is enough to write data on it. Then the next sample that I got was from the ash, that partially burnt wood. And then also I found something when I ran my UV light under the staircase, I found some things glowing. So I thought I would pick up this matter and examine it in the light of probably it being either acidic or alkaline. So I used a litmus paper test on that to know exactly what it is. And it confused me because it did not give the appropriate results what I would think it should have. The rock in itself again was scratching everything. So the rock, which was so easily broken by me off that wall, was still enough to have a scratch test established, right? And then the last part, entirely after all this, is when you establish, okay, fine, this place is really can be haunted. It is only after all these things have happened and all this preliminary tests have been conducted when you actually go in for a spirit communication. And worldwide, it's only the spirit communication which people like.
चलो, सब जगह पे लाइट्स तो रखी हैं, आप उसके ऊपर आओगे तो मुझे इशारा मिल जाएगा, आपको बात करनी है। I'll take that as a response. Make any noise outside. Ignore the crickets. Not the crickets. हाँ, ये सी वो देखो, वो रूम से अंदर आया और ये देखो यहाँ से ये हो गया. Nice. Not the exact response that I desired, but yeah, thank you. चलो ठीक है, कोई तो बेडरूम में जा रहा है. Good, good, good. Okay, भड़कने की जरूरत नहीं है. Calm down. Calm down, calm down. ठीक है. Go down. Can you decrease the temperature outside just for my confirmation? Okay, ठीक है. अभी बाहर का टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा था, अंदर का टेम्परेचर कम था. Can you reverse this? Do you have the power? चलो अपना पूरी ताकत लगा दो. तुम जितने भी हो, बाहर के टेम्परेचर कम करके अंदर की टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा करके बताओ. चलो ठीक है. I'll give you say about 10 seconds to do that. चलो I think so 10 seconds are up. Let me check temperature. ठीक है. अंदर 17.9. ओके 18. यहाँ पर क्या है 18.5. ठीक है. अंदर वहाँ पर क्या है 18.1. ओके, योर फेवरेट बेडरूम पॉइंटेड एग्जैक्टली राइट. 18.1. ओके ठीक है. अभी बाहर देखते हैं. वेयर शुड आई पॉइंट ऑन द ट्री. 17.5. अमेजिंग, यू डूइंग इट गुड. चलो यहाँ से बाहर देखता हूँ, ये खिड़की के बाहर ऑन दैट ट्री. 17.4. ओह थैंक यू. चलो दिस इज द रिस्पॉन्स. अभी तक बाहर का टेम्परेचर ज्यादा था, अंदर का टेम्परेचर कम था, और तुमने वो करके दिखाया. यू गिव मी अ रिस्पॉन्स दैट तुमने अंदर का टेम्परेचर बढ़ाया. इट्स 18.5 एंड आउटसाइड इज 17.5. आई मीन दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट द पर्पस ऑफ एन इन्वेस्टिगेशन इज, टू prove whether a place is haunted or not. And I think there has been enough evidences since afternoon, since we started collecting samples and we got a response from the trees. I think there is enough evidence to prove that this place is haunted. There is energy, there is intelligent energy which is responding to exactly what we are saying. And to tell you very frankly, I think this is a very manipulative energy. This is not a victim. This is not someone who needs help. I feel that it is manipulating us by showing it or displaying itself in different avatars and trying to manipulate us again.